Hello everybody, and welcome to the podcast, the Duo Cube podcast, where two lifelong friends talk about life and gaming or video games. I'm Aqueous. This is my good buddy Matrana.
Hi.
And yeah, we're just gonna talk mostly about video games this episode. Cause last episode, see the whole life and video games. We forgot the video games part.
Yeah, it was a lot of life.
Yeah, I mean, like that was intentional to be fair, but that we're gonna make this episode all about video games. So, yeah, I mean, let's start off with early friendship and gaming growing up. Do you have anything you'd like to start us off on?
Well, I
Oh,
guess
with
I
that?
would I would start with the question like, how did you get into gaming? And I'll answer it for myself first. How I originally got into gaming as a little tot, I was probably like 5 or 6 or 7. Honestly, I have no idea. I don't remember like that far back, but it's been pretty much as long as I have been conscious and remembering shit. I have been playing video games, but as early as I can remember, my family had a Super Nintendo 64. I don't remember why we had it because I was the only one who used it, so maybe they got it for me, but like at the same time, I that's really something that I've never asked my family that I probably should because I don't know why we had it because no one in my family played with it but me. But like how would they know that I liked video games if that was like my first exposure to video games? That's like a loop and a question all its own. But I had a Super Nintendo 64 and I played some of my first few games were Super Mario World, which is world famous. Everyone knows Super Mario World, or most people know Super Mario World. And I played other stuff like Zombies Ate My Neighbors, also a very cool, very nostalgic game for me. I did Balls Fighters, which was like this stupid little fighting game where the characters didn't have any voice lines; they just made noises, and they were completely, as the name suggests, the fighter models were like completely made out of balls. If you've played games like Soul Calibur or Tekken, kind of like the 3D space fighting games, then that's pretty much what Balls was like. It was very primitive and early. It was like in the early 2000s. So, um yeah, that's I pretty much started with the Super Nintendo, and then I was PlayStation all the way up. Growing up, I was PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4. I switched to PC before the PS5 came out, but that's pretty much where I started.
Yeah. Um, where I started was I would always watch. I would sit in a chair beside my dad's desk and watch him play Supreme Commander for hours. I would say like that's whenever I was like really young. That was like before we met and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And then I don't know what happened first. I don't know. Don't know what happened first. Whether we met or I had my first pooter, my first PC. I think it was probably I had my first computer. It was like a hand me down from my dad. I think my first two computers were hand me downs from my dad. Um, but uh, it was I got Supreme Commander. I played that. Um, I also played D&D online, Dungeons and Dragons online. It's like an MMO. It loves your wallet. Um, you
As
know
they
how
do.
it be. Yeah. I would say overall, I've even gone back in modern times and played the game. I don't think it's up to modern standards, but I do think that it was pretty good for its time, definitely. Because like the only things that were around back then, MMO wise, were probably World of Warcraft, and that's
Sure.
well, obviously like
Go!
RuneScape, Adventure Quest, things like that, or EverQuest or whatever the game is.
And then
Just
yeah,
like the really oldies.
there's some really old ones. Yeah, Ultima Online, other stuff like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of the systems in D&D were probably things that also some of the other ones had, but I think they actually like some of the core gameplay systems I think actually hold up. But the thing is I just don't think like the graphics, the I don't know, some of this other stuff doesn't. Um Supreme Commander, that was an RTS. It's like a futuristic type. I had never played any other RTS or anything like that at the time, or even seen it. I didn't even know what RTS was. I was just
Yeah,
like, that's Supreme Commander. I just knew the game. Also had a GameCube. I would play like Super
huge.
Monkey Ball. That was a banger. Super Smash Bros. Melee. That was
What?
definitely
Yeah,
the favorite. Um, I'd like Mario Kart Double Dash, but I don't remember where that even went. I think,
I don't even think I ever saw that. Maybe I
yeah, I
did,
don't know. I
but
had that for a while. That's also a really popular GameCube game that, um, that's like a classic. And Luigi's Mansion, didn't really play it that much. I had like a Scooby Doo game. Uh, that was interesting.
yeah,
I had a SpongeBob game as well. I think the
yeah.
Scooby Doo game was actually kind of a banger. It was like you do a lot of puzzles and stuff like that.
Mm,
Uh, and I think you actually played that even for a bit whenever you would come over sometimes. That was honestly not a bad game. Um, yeah, I had a SpongeBob cooking game. That
hell
one I didn't
yeah.
play very much. Oh, some other games. Cars. I had a Cars game, Lightning McQueen. You'd
Mm-hmm.
like drive around Radiator Springs. It was like GTA, but not multiplayer and just driving around Radiator Springs doing whatever. Um, and then there was another one that it was kind of a banger. Oh, Happy Feet. That game was crazy. You'd play
Happy
like
Feet
Guitar
bucks.
Hero with like the arrows and the dancing game.
Yeah.
And then there were also like these races where you'd be laying on your belly, and it was like the belly ice races. That was crazy. That game was fire. I don't know if I still have it. If I do, I think I might play it at some point. Um, yeah, most of my other gaming journey, the reason I kind of waffled on about all those a decent amount is because most of my other gaming journey kind of happened after I met you.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is really all I did. I wouldn't say I was a gamer at all. I played like D&D because my dad played it, and me and my dad played it together. That was pretty badass. Uh, Supreme Commander because I watched my dad play it, and me and my dad would play it. And then I had a GameCube, which isn't a multiplayer console unless you're like split screening.
Yeah.
So it's not like an online console or anything like that. So I would just that was literally it. Just that. And then like everything else came afterwards. Like I don't know. I'm pretty sure I got my Xbox probably after we had met. That's a pretty good assumption. But I had a few games on that. What my favorites were obviously MW2. That was a banger game. Um, yeah, I'm sure there were others for sure.
Yeah,
Yes, there
Modern
were other
Warfare 2.
Xbox games,
Yeah.
100%. No, I like Black Ops 2 Zombies. I liked World at War Zombies. I think Black Ops 2 Zombies had some of the most fun zombies. Probably like one of the last good Call of Duty zombies was Black Ops 2, in
Yeah,
my
I
opinion. It
think
had like
after a point,
transit with the bus.
yeah. After a
That was
point, I feel
fire.
like they just started to waffle. They try they tried to
Yeah, they did the
reinvent zombies
aliens.
in so many different ways, but it was just like I feel like you kind of did it okay. Like
Yeah.
I don't feel I feel because I feel like from what I've heard from everyone who played zombies or at least like started with zombies back at like World at War, they were like, yeah, I fell out of the zombies mode because why I got into zombies is that I loaded into the map right and there were some like zombies and then I like shot them and they gave me money when I shot them and then I would use that money to like buy guns, and then I would get
I
like
spent it on the mystery box.
I would get like better guns, and then I would like survive as long as I can. And the fun is like seeing how long you survive. And then in like some of the more modern titles, zombie players are like, yeah, so first you're gonna spawn in, and then you're gonna solve this like fucking multi-step 9-year long puzzle to get this like secret staff piece, and then you're gonna do like a 360 triple jump into this specific corner of the map to fall through the map planned into this like subsection of the map to find your like middle piece, and then you're gonna go through like a portal that was made by some like Nazi scientist guy, and there's like clown zombies and shit, and like everything going crazy, and also there's like a giant robot running around, and then like and so and then you just sit back and you're like,
what's going on?
What are we saying? Like it just got to the
It's
point.
like, what is happening?
It got to the point where if you wanted to play Call of Duty Zombies, it felt like you needed a PhD in Call of Duty Zombies before you started like being comfortable with even like knowing that you're like doing good in the mode. And sure, you could probably like play the mode exactly like the old ones, but it just, I feel like there's a certain urge that a lot of gamers feel, very, very many gamers feel, that they kind of feel like they want to be doing it right. So the fact that they added all of that shit into the game made people feel like they had to know it, and a lot of people didn't.
I feel like the game
want
made
to
you
bother.
have to do it too.
Yeah, there
Like-
on certain maps like you couldn't access the mystery box without at least interacting with some of the more strange mechanics they added.
Yeah. Honestly, Black Ops 2, I liked World at War,
Mhm.
but I think Black Ops 2 might be like where they added a little bit of diversity into zombies before they went overboard with the diversity in zombies. Like, I don't know if you remember the map. Transit is probably the most popular one because it had the bus and all the different bus locations.
Yeah,
That one was definitely, that one had a lot of depth for sure. But it was still like classic, like, you know, it was just like the point was that you wanted to kill the zombies, and like sometimes you just had to like go somewhere on the
Leave.
bus because
Yeah.
like it was fun, and like other places had other stuff, and that was fun.
yeah,
But like there was also Farm, I think was a map that map honestly was so banger.
yeah,
Where you go to the farm and the mystery box is like on the, I don't know, there's like a lookout on the farmhouse where you like look out over the farm,
yeah.
and like the you have to go out the window and to the right, and then like I don't know, the mystery box is like up there on the second floor, something like that. I don't know, but like I remember in Transit you could also go to the farm, but it was a part of the Transit map.
Yeah.
It's like that was crazy too. I feel like there was a lot of depth in zombies and in Black Ops 2 zombies, and on also the maps were just really fun and just cool, and I liked the theme and I liked the look of them. And that was before they messed it up. So, hey, that's how it is, because I feel like for Black Ops 3, that's whenever it got that's when it got crazy. And also they put it in one of the other games, whichever one did the aliens thing first. That was wild.
I want to say Advanced Warfare, but it could have been any of them. I don't really remember.
Yeah, I wanted to say Advanced Warfare too, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I know there was in MW3 there was Survival. I really liked Survival. Good. Survival was a banger in that game. MW2 didn't have it, but I think that is peak for PvP, for multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's like there were so many bangers. Like World at War had like probably second best zombies in my opinion. That's if you wanted like the most simple experience, but you still wanted to like have a good time. Like World at War was like the second best zombies one. Black Ops 2 was the best zombies one. Black Ops was just probably, it was like it's like the human race in an MMO. It did like everything good, but in my opinion did nothing the best.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I was gonna say zombies in Black Ops 1 is a lot of like, it genuinely takes a lot of headspace. Oh, hold on, I gotta sneeze.
Bless. Bless up. Oh.
Okay. It genuinely takes a lot of the headspace for me, where like when someone says Call of Duty Zombies, my mind shoots back to the 5 map with like being the fucking like John F. Kennedy and Castro and the one secretary guy. I don't remember his name, but he is very, very important to like US
Is that the one where
history.
you're in like the meeting room?
Yeah,
You're in the White House or
Pentagon.
something?
You're in the Pentagon.
Oh, okay,
And
yeah.
You are
That
like,
that was a fun map.
yeah, you were like Castro, JFK, the secretary guy, and one fucking fourth guy. I don't even remember his name or like what he is about. But you had like that where you're running around the Pentagon, and then there was another map for them, which was like the more basic one that I genuinely don't remember. But there's a decent amount of my headspace when people talk about zombies does shoot back to like Black Ops. I think Black Ops 1 specifically might be pound for pound. Hot take, I think the best game in the series, but it is very, very close with MW2. The reason I say that is because MW2's campaign was amazing and its multiplayer was amazing, and the Spec Ops mode felt like last minute and rushed, and it was just kind of replaying specific parts of the campaign that you've already done. If you've already played the campaign, you've already done everything there is to do in Spec Ops. But like Spec Ops was like, how fast can you do it for like internet points? You get stars. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't really care. Where Black Ops had zombies multiplayer and the campaign was amazing. So I feel like it won in all 3 categories for me, which is why I'd probably say it's like the best.
Yeah, I mean I could see that. I remember playing missions a bit in the first Black Ops game. Yeah. Unfortunately after the games that we talked about, there's not a lot to like, be happy about in terms of Call of Duty. And I don't think that's us being boomers. I think that's just like the take. Like, we didn't like those games back then because like it's like we're looking back with rose-colored glasses, because like I'm sure if I played a game of MW2 then played a game of Advanced Warfare, I know which one I'd like more even now.
Yeah.
I don't think it's even moderately a doubt in my mind. Yeah, I mean that's just how it is. But once we met and we started playing games together, we would do like we'd talk on landlines because
Oh, 100%.
Skype was probably a thing, but landlines are just easier.
Yeah, I mean,
Until that didn't become an option.
we might not have been like tech savvy enough as children at the time. I was gonna say we are kind of in that age range where a lot of people that are younger than us and not significantly younger, like maybe like 18 or something, will have grown up, and if they are a gamer, most of their formative years, like all they have known is like they talk to their friends on Discord, and because Discord has been around for a bit now.
Yeah.
But for us, we were kind of, and we've talked about it in other areas of life, but we are kind of at the exact perfect age where like I remember having a wired phone in my house and then a landline, and then landlines stuck around for a while until they just kind of disappeared because the evolution was, phones. But so when I was talking with friends, which was, I mean, let's be honest, 99% of the time it was just you. But like when we were playing video games and shit as kids, we used to just sit and play video games on our desks, and I would have like my landline phone, like my phone right here. I would have my phone on speaker just laying right in front of my monitor, and I'm sure if for you it was exactly the same. And we would
Yeah, I
talk
just
on our
like stood
landline
mine up
phones,
and just set it to the left or set it to the side.
and we would talk on those phones until their battery would die, and we'd be like, "Oh, I gotta like charge my phone before I can call you again." So like it
Oh no,
would,
I'd go get the other
yeah,
landline because we have multiple phones in the house, and there'll be a point where like one is dead, so I'm like, oh, I gotta go grab the other one. And
yeah,
there were times where the one was dead, and I forgot to like take it with me downstairs to put it on the charger, or
yeah.
upstairs at the time because I was
You
in
were
the
in the
basement.
basement. Yep.
Uh, upstairs, and I forget to take the phone that's dead. So I'd have all the phones that are in the house. I'd have like 2 dead phones, and I'd have like our last landline, our last living one at like 5% battery, and I'd be like, oh man. Because I'd get, I'd get yelled at for that.
Yeah.
For, you know,
As you would.
as I should, honestly.
I mean, what a little
I just got
deviant.
all the phones
Like,
dead.
yeah.
Yeah, that's, yikes. But I mean,
Yeah.
then came Skype.
Yeah, from there, I mean, we moved on from just like having our landline sitting on our desks to Skype, and then when we actually started to develop some other friends that honestly, I like hot take, I don't remember. We were like too young for me. I don't remember a soul that we used to talk to in TeamSpeak.
I remember one person,
Yeah.
and he went by like Ajax or something,
Okay.
and they played League.
Oh, shocker. We played a lot of League back then.
But that was it. I remember us being like I was like really low elo,
Uh-huh.
like really bad, like bronze. And I remember this guy who we were talking to who was bronze for like months with us. And then he stopped talking to us for a bit, but I'd still see him like online. And bro just went from like bronze to diamond. I guess bro just figured it out. I mean, either that, I mean, maybe he got a boost, but
Yeah,
I remember
could be.
he stayed, like he was online once he got to like diamond or whatever it was. He like stayed there after getting it. So I think he got like hard stock diamond, but he never dropped after that. So I genuinely think that he might have just like, I don't know, started picking the game up and like really getting good at it, and then actually got good and was like, I can't talk to these bronze nerds anymore. A bunch of noobs, honestly, below
True.
me for real, and then just like kind of ignored us forever after that.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, that's completely possible. But like, I remember that guy. That is the only name I can possibly think of from TeamSpeak.
Yeah. But
That
I mean,
is weird.
we never did Vent, but I feel like Vent and TeamSpeak were like the same era, and it was more of a just
I
preference
don't
thing.
even know Vent.
Yeah,
I'm having trouble
Vent was
ever
like
recollecting
TeamSpeak.
that name in my life.
Like people were like, "Oh, you gotta have Vent," or like you can have TeamSpeak. It was used a lot it was brought up a lot in like raiding guilds and stuff for like World of Warcraft and whatnot. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Huh.
But like, yeah, it existed right around the same time as TeamSpeak. I feel like it was more of like a preference thing. Like how people are like, Coke or Pepsi. I feel like it was a weird thing, and maybe it's still around. I honestly have no idea. I know TeamSpeak is still around, but like how? I think there. I don't know, maybe there's like a series of
It's like a
gamers.
cult.
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe there's like a series of gamers who are like over 40 that are like, TeamSpeak is the shit. Discord is for kids. I don't even like want to use that shit. But like, I don't know. I just kind of went to Discord, when it came out.
Yeah. I feel like Discord is really good. I mean, that's it. I mean, like, will there be from landlines to Skype, and then from Skype to TeamSpeak, and TeamSpeak to Discord. I've thought about before, will there be something after Discord? It's possible, but I think significantly less likely than the other things. Like the other things, it felt like we were just using them because it was the best thing at the time to use. But like Discord is like actually good.
Yeah.
And it keeps innovating, and it can do. I mean, what can it do? You can like make a whole community. You can schedule events that show up in a server that like notify people. There are so many different like widgets that you can add to a Discord server, things like that, where you just like automatically give roles, and then the roles give you access to things.
Yep.
And it's like the most updated version of TeamSpeak, I'm sure, has some of these things. Like you can play games. They're like little flash games through Discord because they're like Discord games.
Yeah, through the activities.
And that is
thing.
so weird. Like, what's that? The Chef Showdown?
Yeah, we played Chef Showdown. It was crazy.
Honestly, not bad.
It was a fun game, and it was free.
That's crazy. And I just feel like at this point, like with Nitro, they're self-supporting. They got like a shop with like merch, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Discord has reached the point where I think it's too big to fail. And what I mean by that is that it's not actually like too big to fail by like the exact definition that you'd think of, but too big for it to fail on its own without the company killing itself.
Yeah,
just like how
they have to like do
Riot
something stupid.
Or Blizzard is too big to and we'll talk about this in a later topic, but like Blizzard is too big to fail unless it were to do make a few years of bad decisions, hypothetically, yeah, and like only bad decisions that like never make a good one. I'm sure we'll not talk about that later though.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I agree in the way that I feel like Discord is kind of at the point, and I feel like this is true for a lot of things. It is too big to where, as long as they continue to update it and they continue to keep with the times, there's nothing that is going to come out that will replace it, because like it's already free. And
what else could you want?
I don't know. Like,
yeah.
You can play video games in it. You can have a server with all of your friends. A lot of YouTubers, Twitch streamers, etc. have like communities for it. You can watch movies together with like up to 100 people from all across the world. There's so much that you can do with it in terms of online social interaction. There's even public servers that you can just join at any time that are just...
We're doing a whole podcast through it.
Yeah, we're doing a podcast because Discord is making it easy for us to do. There are so many things that it can do, and all of it is free, that I don't feel like there's a competitor that can come out that'll be like, hey, we're better than Discord. And it's like, okay, but like how? And is it in a way...
what do you have that Discord doesn't?
Yeah, in a way that like matters. Yeah. It's like, because I compare it to like one of the big reasons that Discord blew up over TeamSpeak, which was the prevalent, like, that TeamSpeak was Discord for early 2000s like gamers and shit. But what happened was, and we never had to deal with this because, I mean, we were like kids and shit, but like the reality of it is that TeamSpeak servers, like the TeamSpeak server that we were on, the owners of the servers had to pay monthly to like own the server. Like you paid for the server, like you paid like a monthly subscription kind of thing. And you just don't do that on Discord. And that's one of the reasons that Discord blew up, is that it came out and it was like, hey, we're TeamSpeak, but like better, and it's free. And everyone was like, free? And so they just, they lunged to it, and it blew up, because like, why would you want to pay like $15 a month to have a server when you could just do it for free?
True.
There you go. And then it just got better and better and better over time. So
yeah, as long as they're evolving and improving the product, which is they're always doing, I feel like there's just No way. I mean, there's noise suppression built in. There's like everything that you could possibly imagine. Like, I don't. What else exactly can another company convince me that I need that Discord doesn't have? I honestly, I could probably think of something if I spent a very long time
Yeah.
and I like looked over all of Discord. I could think of like maybe one thing, but that's what it is. It's just
I'm
like
not
some
sure I
company just
could.
has to like do it better, and it's just like I don't know how you could.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of slopping on the knob right now, but
I mean, but
I don't know.
Discord
Let's
does
talk
good.
about
That's why everyone uses it. You know.
yeah. Let's talk about some of the games that we played post uh us meeting and like becoming gamers together.
So I bear the original sin of our friendship. Oh, Nate's flipping the fuck out right now. I hear it through my headset.
I was like yelling. Like I was just wondering, like it. Usually, like he yells a few things and then takes a breath. Bro has just been screaming. It's like he's like reading a book
Yeah, but
and he's screaming an entire page.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to we need to get that guy help. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean,
Yeah, we have a roommate. For context for everyone listening, we have a roommate who has like an anger issue, and whenever he is losing a League of Legends game, he will just scream. And because we have good noise suppression through, our expensive microphones and Discord and whatnot, you likely will not hear it. But for us, I am wearing noise canceling headphones, and he is downstairs, not on the same floor, and I am hearing him while I am talking and while Tyler is talking.
yeah.
So that guy needs help. League of
Yeah,
Legends
he's got a
gamers,
problem.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what his problem is, his teammates.
Yeah, but true. But speaking of League of Legends, as I was just about to say, I feel as though I bear the original sin of the friendship. So Tyler, he was just a sweet, innocent boy. He played Supreme Commander, and he played Dungeons and Dragons online, mostly just with his dad for both, but I think he did play some of each alone. And other than that, he played with his GameCube. Around season 3, I think the exact patch is the patch that Zed came out, because I think you and I have both agreed that we deeply remember the first few times you were logging into League, it was Zed's animated splash art on the login screen.
Or Vi, whichever one came out first.
I'm not sure.
I mean, I can look it up while you're talking.
But yeah, so I have been playing League of Legends. I have been playing League of Legends since pre-season 1. I have played through everything. I have seen everything there is to do with League of Legends. And eventually when we met, I was like, hey, there's this like cool game I want to show you, because I think we could both play it online after school and whatnot. And I showed Tyler League of Legends during either, I guess, the Zed or the Vi patch. And ever since then...
Oh my god, I'm a freak. Okay, so it was Zed. Zed was released November 13th, 2012. This is old release schedule, by the way. Think about this. November 13th, 2012. So it was pre-season 3, right?
Probably.
Because 2013 would start season 3.
Yeah.
So this was the post-season of season 2. The pre-season of season 3.
Ooh.
Vi released December 19th, 2012. The same year.
Yeah.
They are released 1 month and 6 days apart. That does not happen in League of Legends anymore.
Oh no, not at all. Every 2 weeks.
Crazy.
Used to be every 2 weeks. Crazy that they did that for so long. But
even here, it's like every month, just a month.
Yeah.
Or a month and a week.
Yeah, so right around that point, is when I introduced him to League of Legends, and ever since then, without a shadow of a doubt, that is the highest hours in a video game that Tyler has ever had. I gave my friend a lifelong addiction. That is the thing that he will be able to take away from this friendship, no matter how long
The
it
only
lasts. Yeah, really.
The only thing.
If I died tomorrow, he would still have League of Legends. You know what I'm saying? Real.
I'd play it in your honor.
Yeah,
I'd play a Shaco game.
Yeah.
To send you off to the Archangels.
Wow. That's crazy. But
yeah,
that was 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's something, isn't it?
Yeah. So like, so then I frame it in that way and I'm like, damn, I've been playing League for like 14 or 15 years or something. But almost as long as I have known you, I have been playing League. Give or take like 2 years of when I was playing it alone. But that is crazy. And it's been a long ride. We still play to this day. I mean, not nearly as much, at least for me, as I did before. I will take like months long breaks in between, or like a whole month or 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever. But I think it's been like 9 months since I've played a solo queue game, like as in I was just me alone. And before that, I think it had been like over a year. I often say in my friend group, which is a cope for a lot of people, say it's like a cope, it's like a meme for people who play League of Legends. Like, man, I don't even like this game. I could just like not play it at any time. And then they like come back like 2 weeks later, right? I am such a friends-based person with the way that I do video games. Like, I used to play video games alone when that was all I ever knew, right? That was a lot of people. Like when I was young and I didn't have any friends, I would like play my Super Nintendo or PS1 alone. But then when I met Tyler and we started hanging out and all that stuff, we started playing games more and more. All of the games we've talked about before with like the Super Nintendo and the GameCube and all that. We also played them like locally, like local co-op and all that shit. But as I grew up and even now, I'm very much a gamer who plays games because my friends are playing the game. That gives me a lot of strength until I'd say it's only been recently, I'd say in the last year or two, that I've been able to step back and be like, all right, I really genuinely don't like this game. And we have been friends for long enough that I'm like, all right, you can go like this game. I'm going to go not like this game. And we will reconvene when you are done. But for a very long time, I would be like, okay, well, I don't like this game, but my homie does. And I want to spend time with my homie. So like, I'm going to play it. And it was never like any like outside weird like pressure from Tyler or anyone that like made me play the games. It's just kind of like how I was. I don't think I was a very like strong individualistic person for stuff like that until recently. So I probably would have quit League of Legends around like, I'd say like season 6, 7, something like that. Or all the way up to like season 13 or something now. I do not touch that game when the homies.
Season 14.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Worse than I thought. Yeah, I just don't play that game when the homies aren't playing it, but I do dabble when the homies are very into it.
I feel like I've evolved to a point. I've had some degenerate arcs. But I feel like I have evolved to a point where if I don't find the game fun, I will also take breaks for weeks to sometimes months, depending. So right now, I'm kind of into it because I'm kind of enjoying Smolder quite a bit. Not to get too far down the rabbit hole, especially modern League, because like we're talking about early stuff, but like Wizard 101, what a banger!
Oh yeah.
We played quite a bit of that. I don't remember. I think you played it first.
Yes,
because you had like this life wizard.
Oh my god!
And
dude.
then
So like Wizard 101, right? The
Yeah.
reason I got into it, and like obviously it felt like it happened a lot where I would find something first and then I would be like, hey, ta-da, here's a game. We should play it. It did that for Wizard 101 too, where I just saw like a fucking like one of those old Wizard 101 commercials where like the dude casts like dragon on like Malastare or whatever. And I was like, that shit looks crazy. I have to play that. And so I remember loading up the website wizard101.com and being, are you a boy or a girl? And you know, like that.
And he still does that.
And he still does
my
that.
God.
And
they haven't taken it from me.
And it's so yeah, like on the website, not the game, but like on the browser, I did my like little setup thing that like didn't fucking matter, by the way, but like it's all right, you know, like I was a kid, but I like took the test. I like found out like, oh, I'm like this guy is like it felt like very much so. If I could relate it to something that would be more modern, it felt like when like those like awful BuzzFeed quizzes would like go around social media, like what kind of fucking what house are you in Wizard 101, or like what kind of superpower would you have or whatever. I was like drawn in by like,
what's your favorite storm?
True.
Like, I like earthquakes.
Yeah. I was very drawn in by like that, and I took the test and I got like Life Wizard or whatever for whatever reason at the time. And so I made my account, and when I launched it, I was like, oh, I have to like make my character again. That's weird. And so I mean, like I did it anyway, and I ended up with her name is Donna, and it was a girl, which, as we know, with my gaming character preferences is kind of odd now because I do play a lot more males than women in terms of like RPGs, but it was Donna Legend Blossom.
Bringer? Oh, I think it was Blossom.
It was definitely Blossom, but I don't know if it was Legend. It was something Blossom, and I played so much Wizard 101. And we both really did when we were kids and we were broke as hell. I remember fighting haunted guards or haunted
my God.
Harvest guards? Oh God, it's
Harvest
like
ghouls?
No.
And Triton?
No, because it wasn't the ghouls, it was the scarecrow dudes in Haunted Cave.
Yeah.
Were the hardest mob you could fight as a free-to-play player. They had 315 health. I want to say Harvest Guard, but
Harvest Lord. Is
that a boss or the actual ones in Haunted Cave?
Okay, maybe I'll have to look up the Triton Avenue mobs in it, and Baron Mordecai and the Harvest Lord are the ones there, but that are scarecrows, but those are bosses, I think.
Yeah, there's no scarecrows in default Triton. It's in Haunted Cave. But regardless, we both spent ungodly amounts of time fighting those scarecrows because they were the hardest thing you could fight and the most like XP giving mob for people who didn't have membership, and we didn't have membership because we were like 13 or some crap.
Yeah.
So I remember getting all the way to like level 21 or some crap on raw combat experience, no quests.
Oh, they're just called scarecrows.
Okay. But yeah, there you go.
All right.
But
what's that?
God, Wizard 101 is such a banger, and it's still.
Oh no, I trolled. They're called field guards.
See, I'm the goat. I mean,
field
not
guards,
harvest guard, but field guard. I knew it was something guard. I couldn't remember exactly what, but we played so much Wizard 101. And we still, I mean, honestly, yeah, true. We still do. Hey, I'll say it as a 23-year-old man coming on 24. I play Wizard 101 yearly.
Yeah.
At least
like
yeah.
At least once a year we'll get into a phase.
Oh yeah. And
we'll get a month
it's
of
always
membership.
good. It's always good.
It's always good.
Yeah, it's fine.
It really is. We really should finish Chrysalis this year.
We should.
At least.
We should just catch up
Like-
this year. Come on, we're strong enough.
That'd be crazy.
We're 23 fucking years old. Tell me
Tell me we can't catch up in a kid's
Yeah,
game.
we can't buckle up and finish this kid's game. Come on. For real.
Okay, real.
For real.
We
I'm
should
a,
have a
I'm a
podcast
fucking adult.
episode in the midst of us like being into Wizard 101,
yeah.
where it's literally just us playing Wizard 101, but we're like talking in a podcast form
Yeah.
while we're just mindlessly grinding quests and stuff.
Shit, why not?
YOLO.
But we played that, and then later when Pirate 101 came out, I don't remember how
Yeah,
many
I really
years.
wanted to bring this up too.
Yeah. When Pirate
We
101
played the
came
Pirate
out.
101 closed. I think it was open beta.
Yeah, I think it was open beta.
Ole.
We got into the Pirate 101 beta, and honestly, what a life-changing experience. I'm still, to this day, so fucking tilted that game wasn't as supported as Wizard 101 was, because I feel like it was so much better. I liked it so much more. It just tickled a part of my brain that not many games have been able to replicate.
And we still play that about once a year too.
Yeah, every year at least. I mean, multiple times in year to my memory, but at least once a year since those
We played
games
like
have
twice
came out.
in last year. Like in
Yeah.
2023, we played it 2 different times.
Yeah,
Like the very start and then like towards the end
but
with Sean for a bit.
yeah, very
Yeah.
very good games. Warm places in my heart.
There have been like when we played the Power 101 open beta and everyone's running around and like everything is brand new and you're coming off like you already liked Wizard 101 or like I'm saying you but like I mean
Yeah.
like we like if you were a person that already liked Wizard 101 and Pirate 101 came out by the same company, same art style, but everything's just new, like the areas, the mobs. Some things are still the same, like they're in the same like universe.
Yeah,
So like you'll see like Linda Wu, who's the life school teacher, you will just see also a samurai cow in
oh,
in
yeah.
Pirate 101. You'll be like, I've seen that before. But like the
Mushu
stuff that
is
was
the
new,
world.
I just really like the Troggies. I think
Hell
Troggies
yeah.
are the most
Fucking
what is it called? Nostalgic mob for me.
yeah.
Anytime we are fighting Troggies, I'm like, this is a moment.
This is
There's
a
a moment.
moment in time.
I love the Troggies. Their names, their looks, the sounds that they make. I think everything about them is so badass. And in the open beta, I think they honestly went for this, but then they kind of went back on it. Where they like made the game less baby mode than Wizard had become.
Oh yeah.
The starting zone of Wizard at this day and age is like the Lost Souls have like 35 HP. Like you can just kill them with your rank 1 wand attack, and it's like, what
Yeah.
are we saying? But
They used to
the
have
Troggies-
95.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Troggies had 95.
No, I'm saying in.
They
in-
used to have 95.
No, yeah,
in
I'm
Wizard.
saying, yeah, in Wizard, Lost Souls used to have 95. Like they could survive lower end damage ranges of spells from like all schools. Like Imp does like 65 to 105 now. There was like 2 different
You have
damage
to
ranges.
turn a Lost Soul and just don't
Yeah.
have to anymore.
Yeah. I mean, you could one turn it if you rolled high on your damage for your spell. But
True, especially if you use the snake.
yeah, well, Snake's always killed because I think the Snake range was 105 to 145. So, and then
Man.
yeah, the skeleton guys used to have 135. Rattlebones used to have over 300 health. That's crazy. If you look up Rattlebones now, I think he has like 150 or something. I don't know.
Something low. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the Troggies came out and they did a decent amount of damage and they had a decent amount of HP. You had to actually think when you were fighting these mobs. And that was really cool. Everything about the open beta was really cool. The fact that like they gave you a few free crowns. So you
Yeah.
and me both got medium speed
Barracuda.
Barracudas.
Oh, that's a dog shit
my-
mount.
God. I mean, I think it's a cool amount, but obviously, like medium
Yeah, I mean,
speed is
yeah, I'm
like
talking about speed.
crazy.
Yeah.
Holy
We were like,
moly!
holy shit, free mounts back then, not knowing it was like a 20%. No, I think it's a 10% movement speed boost was medium.
The fact, I don't know. King
Oh,
style
man.
games are just like they're just pure nostalgia.
Yeah.
People are like Toon Towners. There's like you got like your Wizard 101ers, then you got your Toon Towners. This is
Little
a Toon Towner. I
penguiners.
think she's real lame for that.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, I mean, she's not a gamer at all, but
And
like,
then you have the mega cool kids that did Cartoon Network Fusion Fall. That is an
yikes.
insane game.
Yikes.
I could rant about that shit for eons, dude. You weren't there, but I feel like you would have fucking loved that game. I don't know why I never tried to show it to you. Maybe I did at some point and you just didn't take to it, but it was such such a good game. It was so good.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta be honest. I don't know anything about that game. I assume you played as like Cartoon Network characters and
It was
stuff like that.
it's like shit like that now. I feel like if it existed, you would probably actually try it. But it was like a gotcha MMORPG in a way where you had like your base character. Yeah, you had like your base character and the concept was that there was like some evil bad guys and I don't remember their exact origin or like lore or whatever, nor should we actually go down that rabbit hole. But the TLDR is that there was some like bad guys that were trying to like destroy the like Cartoon Network extended universe or whatever. So you were like freeing iconic characters from different shows, like the Powerpuff Girls or like fucking Johnny Test or like, you know, some of the DC characters from like Teen Titans and like basically like think about any Cartoon Network show that you probably watched in like the early 2000s to late 2010s, shit like Ben 10 and basic like everything under the Cartoon Network banner. You were like working to like free them and you got some free characters that you freed through the story, and then there was also a gotcha system where you could get different versions of all of those characters, and then when you tagged in a character, they had like like an ability that they did. So basically every character was functionally an ability that you could use, and you slotted a team of 4 characters at any time, and then you had like pets that you like raised and shit, and you would go around and you would fight the bad guys. And honestly, it wasn't that baby of a game. I'd say it was more close to like, and honestly I could have just been like a kid and like unaware that I was actually just kind of fucking bad. But
Possible.
it was more like the like open beta version of Pirate than like modern Wizard is now. It was actually there was some mobs and areas in the game that would just kind of beat your ass and make you come back if you went to them too soon.
Wow.
You know, so it was really cool. I love, especially I was more of a Cartoon Network kid aside from like iCarly and like SpongeBob and shit like that on Nickelodeon.
Maybe I wouldn't really be into it just because I'm not a Cartoon Network kid pretty much at all. But yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, we did a lot of video gaming. You already mentioned the split screen or slash turn taking on like the PS3.
Yeah.
We would do like MK9 or World at War Zombies on your
Mhm.
PS3. You would play that one game where you're like you'd like paint the walls red. Um,
Splatterhouse?
Yeah, that was crazy.
The dude with the skull mask on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
That game
I love
was
that
metal
game.
as fuck.
The game was metal as fuck. I love that game.
We did a lot of sleeping over at your house because mine had a bedtime.
Yeah.
My parents gave us a bedtime, so we
Major
said,
hell.
"Nah, that's pretty lame." So like, we slept over at your house like 99% of the time.
Yeah, because my parents were apathetic, which, like, you know, looking back on as an adult, mild L. But like, looking at it through the lens of a gamer, hell yeah, we always stayed up till like 2 or 3 in the morning. And then often there was like different vibes to our sleepovers. Like if it was like a sleepover at my house, we stayed up really late, and then you would kind of, because of your normal sleep schedule that you had at that time, you would kind of wake up pretty early, like before I would. So a lot of the times, especially like later into the friendship, you would just go home, and then I would like
Yeah,
wake up and you were like playing like League or something, and so I would just wake up and we would just start playing again. Whereas if we slept over at your house because we had a bedtime, it would wake up at like a normal time, and then I very often at your house I wasn't able to sleep, and I think it was a mix of like the floor, and then also, I didn't have that very normalized sleep schedule, so it'd be like, okay, it's bedtime, and I'm like, bro, I'm not even remotely ready. I'm just not.
sometimes we
So
would just stay up really late and talk about life, but that was at
yeah,
both of the houses too.
yeah,
Where we would just like not even be playing a video game. We just kind of like go to the room, but like not sleep, and then just like sit, talk about life.
yeah.
Uh,
I remember many nights like staring up at your ceiling talking about girls that we thought were hot in high school
real.
and other shit like that.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing has changed. Not a thing.
Well,
The age of the women we talk about, yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah,
like,
yeah, for sure.
yeah, when we were like kids and we were like 14 or 15 or 16 or whatever, we'd be like, "Oh my god, fucking I'll just name drop her, Jess Thomas, or like
Jesus Christ.
fucking, there were many other ones that I don't remember all of their names cuz like fuck, we're old now. But yeah, I just remember
Sure.
sitting up in high school and being like, we're just asking the most raunchy shit because we were teenage boys. We were like, yeah, so if we could just fuck, capital Fuck, fuck any girl in our grade, like who would it be and why? And we would discuss like the jigglenomics of like our like
Real.
fucking, schoolmates' asses and shit like that. When like being a teenage boy was crazy. And
Yeah, I feel like
yeah.
that is the baseline general
Yeah,
experience for any
yeah,
like teenage male. I feel like
yeah. That is peak
any
teenage
teenage
male.
male probably has had those conversations with their friends.
Yeah,
And it's the most cancelable shit of all time.
yeah.
But like, I just tell B,
Hey, it
it
is
is
what
what
it
it is.
is. There you go.
Um, yeah, my Xbox is also in the living room, so we couldn't really play when my parents were in the living room, which is often.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd say on my Xbox, I couldn't even remember a lot of the games that I had. I just know that played one of probably like what is that, Tomb Raider.
yeah.
That was a fun game.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I was gonna bring it up earlier when you were talking about how you couldn't remember other Xbox games, but kind of just wanted to see if you would like remember.
That game
To be
was
honest,
fun.
yeah, real.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I
you know,
agree. Yeah,
and then obviously a lot of MW2.
yeah.
Best COD, multiplayer before it went down the fart box.
Honestly,
Because
in terms of your console, I don't remember many others really. I'm sure there were some, but like it was really just the good Call of Duties and some very, very few single player games because you've never been big on single player games. But
yeah,
I think
um,
Shadow of the Tomb Raider tickled like the right part of your brain because it was so graphically impressive. At
it
that
was
at that
really
point in time that you were
good
like,
to
I'm
watch.
playing a movie. Like,
Real.
yeah, yeah,
I feel like a lot of games are like that now, and I still don't play them though. I don't know, just be like that, I
yeah,
guess.
real.
Uh, but yeah, so yeah, this is the crazy transition. Yeah, so
Yeah,
AAA companies suck.
that's true.
Um,
I feel like we've been itching to talk about this part for a little bit.
yeah, I'm trying to like at least scoot us along because it's like midnight 15.
It sure
You know,
is.
But I feel like the first topic was definitely like this is like the second and only other topic of the night, except for like
Yeah.
one little thing that I wanted to talk about, which is just like a homie conversation. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, AAA companies, yeah, they're going down the fart box.
They really are.
Like
Go ahead.
indie game after indie game, and also AAA game after AAA game, where AAA companies are releasing embarrassment after embarrassment,
Mhm.
and indie devs are releasing dub after dub. Every time it happens, it's just a punch in the gut to a big gamer, which is a big pharma, but for video games. You know what I mean?
Big gamer.
Yeah. I don't know. I think gaming is better overall, but like, yeah, like the standards have been raised by consumers because of what we've been getting by not AAA companies.
Yeah, completely.
Which is crazy because AAA companies used to release all the major dubs. Like some still do, like FromSoft. I mean, Riot still releases dubs, but I would say a good portion of like EA, Activision, Blizzard, Ubisoft. I don't know, just quite a lot. Epic hasn't really had a dub since Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's just kind of yikes. Meanwhile, like Power World, Lethal Company, Phasmophobia, Among Us, Valheim, all of those, and Valheim
And
I
many,
think
many
came out
more.
around COVID.
Yeah.
So this is this isn't an old this has been like a newer thing.
Yeah.
This is
I
like
was
the
gonna say-
2020s have just been the years of the indie games.
Yeah, I was gonna say even to kind of date this podcast slightly. I mean, we already kind of are, but if you're watching this in the very near future after it's posted, Helldivers 2 came out and is like going crazy and ravaging the internet. Everyone's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, we have to play this. And it's also made by an indie company. And before we even started the podcast, I actually looked up because I like looked at it because I was curious. In the top 10 as of recording, in the top 10 best-selling games on Steam, 2 of them are from AAA, and in the top 30, it was like 6 of them are AAA. Like,
What's Helldivers? Is that the one where you're driving a Ford F-150 and running over knights?
no, that is the one where you are like super Americans for your super country and you super shoot bugs. The one that Sean posted that we should play, where you're just like using machine guns and like orbital strikes to kill bugs.
I know there's another. I don't know if it's an indie game. I don't know what company makes it or what dev makes it. There's like one where you like get into an Apache attack helicopter and you rain fire on like a medieval battlefield.
Yeah,
and it's like what? This is like medieval GTA with like modern. I don't know, like vehicles and
like,
shit. I don't know what is going on.
I don't remember what it's called, like Nightfall or something. I don't know, but
wild.
But yeah, there's just legions and legions of indie games and like AA games that are coming out and completely changing the standards of the industry, I think, for the better. It's really weird because for us in our time as we grew up, AAA is kind of all we knew for a time. It was like, who makes the good games? And it was EA and Activision and Blizzard before they merged, and Ubisoft, and all of these companies made all of the games. I mean, not all of them, but like Treyarch, under Activision. They all made all of the good games, and for a time they had a complete and utter monopoly. I mean, the only real indie games that came out at that time that still exist are League of Legends, um, Dota, Dota 2, and I mean it's basically MOBAs. But those, in most people's eyes, they're no longer indie, but that's where they got their roots. They're just indie games that blew up to be so big that Riot Games is now, by most people's standards, a AAA company. But they were like just a couple of guys who liked Warcraft 3 mods. So
when I was talking to Haley about having this conversation, Haley's our manager at work, who's also our friend. She mentioned because I mentioned a bunch of indie games. I listed off a few, and then she said Among Us, and I was like, man, I completely forgot Among Us was an indie game because that shit is so big. It became like a sensation. Yeah. It's like if you told me and it's not because Epic was a company before Fortnite, but if you told me if Fortnite was an indie game, it just wouldn't feel like it because it became like the biggest game ever.
Yeah.
For a long time. And it's like, oh, there's like Fortnite merch, and it's like Minecraft was an indie game.
Yeah.
Right? But like Minecraft is so big that you don't really consider it indie, and especially now because Microsoft bought it now, so it's not even really indie.
That just reminds me of so much that it has offshooted, like Terraria is an indie game. The Don't Starve franchise were indie games, like they are indie games. Like all of these things that they haven't reached global market success. But I mean, I feel like if you were the guy who was getting paychecks for Don't Starve Together, you would still be happy to be that guy, So many of them are indie games, but for a good time in the early 2000s or all of the 2000s and the early 2010s, it was just like the next Call of Duty, the next Battlefield, or like any game that was just published by any of the big companies. There weren't a lot of games that were like, hey, here's my game. I fucking made it yet. So like, here you go. And I feel like it was triggered or set up in a lot of ways because like games used to be through physical distribution, like discs and shit, and downloading wasn't as strong of a technology or a technology at all, depending on what year you were talking about. So a lot of the games, if you wanted to make a game, you couldn't just be a dude in your fucking basement, like how Phasmophobia was made by like two guys. Okay, and then those two guys are like, all right, how do we make like thousands and thousands and thousands of discs and distribute them nationally, let alone globally, to try and offer our product? So like there was a point in AAA where it I feel like it existed because it was the only way it could exist, is by pretty sizable companies being able to distribute the physical games.
Yeah, the barriers. People have talked about that before. Like the playing field is now even.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, people. I mean, AAA companies have bigger marketing budgets. But the reality is that the best marketing for a game is millions of people enjoying it and then telling millions of other people that they enjoy it.
True.
So it's like basically, I mean, like, yeah, the playing field is like completely even. Like, if a new MMO came out and dropped, and Asmongold played it for like 30,000 people, who his community is very grassroots, dedicated MMO players. At least, originally, that's where it's like been birthed from.
Yeah.
And he says this is a great fucking game. It is immediately going to gain a lot of traction.
Yeah.
At least in the MMO scene. I guess that's a bad example because MMOs don't really get nuclear anymore. I feel like the only MMO that might do that is like Riots or Ashes of Creation. If Ashes of Creation is a hit when it drops. But like that's also a whole rabbit hole there. But I mean, just in general, the barriers are down. You don't have to make discs. You don't have to make TV commercials.
Yeah.
Everyone has a PC nowadays, or at least a laptop, most people. And
Yeah.
even so, technology is so good, most games, as long as they don't have a million buttons like an MMO, can be cross-platform. Even some MMOs
Yeah,
can
you
be
have
are
Wild
cross-platform.
Rift and all of that shit for like
Yeah,
League of Legends and whatnot hitting the phone market. Phone markets are huge going into games like Honkai Star Rail and all that shit. I mean, a lot of phone games that blew up were really small developers beforehand. Clash of Clans is another indie game like story where Clash of Clans became fully
Supercell.
fully fucking global. Like Supercell was like nobody. It was no one. It was like a couple of guys, and then they just put a little silly app on people's phone store or app store, and now they're like one of the biggest games ever. So it's true. When we switched to like an online platform where you download your games, you don't like buy discs anymore. That was a huge barrier for entry that indie developers like it disappeared overnight.
Yeah. And it's like there are always going to be people that like an indie dev can be like, "Hey, I'm working on this." To like, I don't know, like Reddits of like indie dev things come out. There'll always be a small group of people as long as you like talk about it, or post it somewhere. That'll be like, "Yeah, sure, I'll try out your game. You convinced me." They try it out. It's really good. They tell their
Mhm.
friends, "It's really good." They tell their friends, "It's really good." It's being posted everywhere. It goes fast.
Mhm.
Also, it gets a lot of upvotes on Steam. Steam starts to promote it. It moves up the chart in Steam, so it gets more recognition, gives more eyes on it, and all of that can happen in like a less than a day,
Yeah.
and that's great. Like Power World drops. I did not. I didn't know what Power World was before the second it released. Like I don't even know if it had an ounce of marketing. Maybe it did somewhere. I
It
don't
did.
know.
It was on the Summer's Game Fest. We saw it when we watched that.
Oh yeah, that's
It
right.
was
That's
one of
right.
the
That's right.
games that came from the Summer Game Fest
Wait. Oh, the game
of
I'm thinking of is Lethal
2022.
Company.
Yeah, Lethal Company came from absolutely nowhere. It
Yeah, it
was
was just
just,
like, hey, Lethal Company exists. We should play it.
oh shit, we
I'm
should
like,
play it.
huh? I
Yeah,
downloaded it and like our whole friend group ended up downloading it because it was like really good.
yeah,
And that's just one guy who is a furry and made Roblox games. And then he was like, I'm gonna
yeah.
try something different.
I'm just
And
gonna
then now
drop one
he's
of the
like a
top
millionaire.
selling games of 2023, just
Yeah.
randomly. Yeah,
I remember everyone was so set that Baldur's Gate was game of the year. It still ended up getting it,
yeah, it did get it.
but people were it actually had a competition. It actually had a game to rival it
Yeah,
when it got there. Because people were also voting for Lethal Company to be the game of the year as well. That would have been crazy if Lethal Company dropped last minute, took game of the year right off of Baldur's Gate 3. I don't
yeah.
know if it would have been deserved. Cause
I mean,
like
I don't think so, but like, I think it was a very good game, but I think
I
Baldur's
think if it
Gate.
did snatch it, it would have been a little bit of recency bias.
Yeah, I feel like people would
Because
have been
like
very upset about that.
yeah, not a lot of people are talking about Lethal Company right now. It's one of those games that comes out. It's like a fun group game. It's not like a competitive type game
Yeah,
or like an MMO. And even MMOs get in the cycle where it's like when the game drops, it's really popular. It falls off a bit, and and then like later an update drops, gets popular again, dies off again. New update, popular again, drops off again. Things like
yeah,
that. So like, and I think that that is perfectly fine. I think that that is. I don't think a game should try to always be at its peak because you can't do that.
yeah. It's
You
not
need to have
realistic.
lulls. Yeah, you need to have lull periods. You need to have dead patches realistically.
Yeah,
You can't permanently be changing so much that the game feels fresh every single time a patch upload comes up, especially if you're patching often.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I don't really have a lot to say. It's just like the fact that AAA companies, like, they just keep releasing L's, like Starfield.
Midfield.
It really seems like every move Blizzard makes is the wrong
Is the
one.
wrong one, yeah.
Like anything that they did with Diablo 4, even they started the Diablo downtrend whenever they waited years and years and years and then said, "Oh, I'm making a new Diablo game. Oh, it's mobile." And then
Yeah.
years go by again and it's like, "Oh, Diablo 4 is coming out. Oh, it has a seasonal system. Oh, Blizzard asked the community, "Hey, if we made this next if we made a expansion cost $100, y'all would buy it, right?" I don't know if you heard about that.
I did
but,
not
like,
hear about that. I heard
Asmongold made a
about
ton of videos. They basically asked the community if people would pay for $100 expansion if it was good
I
enough
mean,
content.
if it like triples the game content, then sure, I guess, but I
I
just
still
don't think it
think
would.
no, because it's like, holy shit, like, this is what you should have given us. Because Diablo 4, let's be honest, is not good than the free-to-play alternative Path of Exile.
It's not. No, you can, but you.
It would need to triple the content, and I'm not paying $100 for you to make a probably still worse than Path of Exile. Path of Exile.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I feel like here's the thing. I think ARPG players are always going to be looking for a different experience, but they will always return to Path of Exile. Because I was saying, Last Epoch is a ARPG
that one's actually getting a lot of.
Yes, I was gonna say it's number two.
Like it.
It's number 2 in top selling on Steam right now. Because it's a new experience. Like, when you've like finished your Path of Exile League, you made the build that you wanted to do this season. You're like, okay, I'm done. There's gonna be like another Path of Exile League in like 3 months. I'll no life it for like 2 or 3 weeks. In 3 months from now. But until then, I'm looking for a different experience, and Last Epoch is kind of providing that right now with a more solid class-based system similar to Diablo, where you just kind of pick a class and then you can also further specialize that class. But Diablo, ever since 3 was good. 3's expansion made it much better, fixed a lot of issues that are with the game. Most people don't even remember Diablo 3 as like its original version, like Malthael, the Archangel of Death and all that shit. He feels more like the poster for Diablo 3 than Diablo himself does in many ways, because that expansion was so poorly needed, because Diablo 3 kind of released and Asmongold has talked about this before and stuff. Diablo 3 was kind of bad, but like they passed over it and they like fixed it, and it was a pretty good redemption story. But right after the redemption, they were like, okay, well, now that the game's good, we're not gonna make another for like 8 years or something. And then when we announced the next one, it's actually a mobile game, and that mobile game actually just like spams you with like $99 microtransaction offers and completely time gates your progress. And this used to be a game where you picked it up, you bought it, and you were like, all right, I'm going to play this to completion with no time gating and no issues and no effort. All that's going to happen, or not effort, all that's going to happen is however much time I put into the game is however much return I get out of it. And then you go to Diablo Immortal, where you can only play it on your phone. And so the game automatically has to be more simplistic than it was on computer. Both graphically, game design, fight wise, and buttons and builds. Pretty much everything has to be just a little bit simpler to match the phone format. And then you do your first dungeon, and it's like, oh, well, you could have gotten this much loot if you just paid $9 or like $9.99. And it's like, okay,
would you like a loot booster?
And so, yeah, and so then you start getting to the point in the end game where you're doing quests, and you had a daily quest system in things like Diablo 3, but it was like, okay, I did my daily, I got my thing, cool. that's not a problem in its own. Daily quests have been a video game mechanic for a very long time. But you're doing your daily quest in Diablo Immortal, and they're like, hey, if you have the VIP pass, you get to do double the daily quests. You get to be twice as advanced as the players who aren't spending money. And there were just there was just so much. There was microtransaction on microtransaction on microtransaction in that game that basically made it made it feel
Shadow
like
Legends.
it made it feel like dragging your balls through nails to play Diablo Immortal as like a free to play player. And that just isn't what Diablo was. That was the wrong market. Like, you should have just made a gacha IP if you wanted to make a gacha game. But like, you know, so that's just AAA companies making mistake after mistake after mistake.
Wondered that. Why don't big companies just make gacha games? They'll have it as like their big money maker so that they can focus on just quality in their other games. You know what I mean? Like,
honestly,
imagine a Blizzard gacha game where all the like special banner characters are literally like Heroes of the Storm, where it's from all of their
I want my
universes and
legendary
stuff.
Deathwing.
Riot could do it so easy if it was just every champion from well, not maybe every champion, maybe some are like bosses that you fight for like gear in the game or whatever that you know. But a bunch of them are just things that you can pull. It's just like crazy. Seems like you just have so many free characters you can drop into a gacha game, make millions and millions of dollars off of that, and then maybe your next game that comes out or all your current games can be a little less dick and balls forward on the monetization.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of
I don't know. I just like gacha games. I don't think there's
True.
anything wrong with them existing.
It's both like a thriving market and like an untapped market at the same time by like different different companies.
Do you know how much Hoyoverse is making, guys?
Yeah, like, I was gonna say,
and they came out of nowhere with nothing.
Yeah, I mean, well,
they just made all their characters.
They had Honkai Impact and whatnot beforehand, but yeah, at the end of the day, every game IP is just some people sat in a room and made shit up. But I was gonna say that the gacha market is very owned, very it's in a vice grip by the Asian countries. Like, a lot of almost any popular gacha game either came from Korea, Japan, or China. Right now, Raid Shadow Legends is the only one that's European, I believe, in origin.
There's
maybe Dragonair.
Dragonair,
yeah,
that has the same kind of art style. I assume that one's probably not Asian.
But
I mean, speaking of gachas, I wanted to bring up a new game.
Oh wow!
That we should play when it comes out. It's in closed beta testing 2 right now.
Is it Wuthering Waves?
It is Wuthering Waves. I was assuming you've seen Tectone talk about it.
You've
seen like thumbnails and
they've
videos,
talked
titles.
about it. They've talked about it on the podcast, like the Steak and Eggs podcast. And then they also talked about it a very good bit. I watched one of the GachaCast episodes one of the days I was working where they talked about it for like an hour. I haven't seen any Tectone like dedicated videos on the subject, but between the very few mentions, between the very few mentions on the Steak and Eggs podcast and the GachaCast, I've heard quite a bit about it. Is it also by Hoyoverse? Or is it?
No,
it's someone different.
Yeah, it's someone different. I don't know what.
There's another one coming from Hoyoverse.
Zenless Zone Zero.
Yeah, yep, that's it.
And everyone who play tested it said that it is garbage.
Unfortunate.
It probably won't even tickle unless they heavily rework the core systems of the game, which is like the whole thing. It will not even tickle the balls of Honkai Star Rail or Genshin. Most likely, it'll probably be far and away their worst product.
Yeah,
but Actually, today, well, they recorded it yesterday, but today, a new episode of Gotcha Cast came out on Tectone's channel. It's the whole episode is basically about Wuthering Waves. So if you actually care enough to watch it, uh, I would recommend it. I was listening to it at work. I didn't even finish it. That's what I was listening to in the morning, whenever you were playing music on the speaker.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was listening to it, and that's whenever I kind of had the idea, like, I should bring it up. Even if we try it but don't, like, get into it or like it, we should at least try it. Because it is a gacha with actual legitimate, like, in-game co-op.
Oh, huge.
It's, so, yeah, I tried to get into the closed beta because I thought that's going to be pretty good for my channel if I can do that. And
Yeah.
obviously, I just want to try it out in general, but I might be able to, get into that game and then maybe, become one of those people in the early days of its community that, where I can, I don't know, do some videos for my channel for
Have
it.
to really go
But
on your grind set for that.
unfortunately, I wasn't accepted to the closed beta, but I can still go hard on it whenever it comes out.
Yeah.
Officially. It's basically, if you don't know anything about, even just to say it for the viewers, now that I brought it up,
Mhm.
it's like Genshin combat, but overall objectively improved. The movement is like 10 times better. You vault over objects, you climb any steep mountain with stamina, which a lot of Genshin players, they talked about this on the Gacha cast, talked about, like, if you're in Genshin and you see somewhere that's like high up on a mountain, you're just like, oh my god. You gotta, like, spend an eternity trying to get up there.
Hell yeah.
Like, find your way up there. What's crazy about Wuthering Waves, you can just walk up the fucking mountain as long as you can, like, but your stamina bar goes down. It's like in Valheim. You can't, like, walk up steep things, but you can, like, sprint up them. But
Yeah.
it takes a lot of your stamina. And then you have to, like, kind of, like, find a ledge to sit on to regenerate your stamina there.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like that. And there's also a grappling hook to help you get around. People are saying that the characters overall feel better, are more interesting than Genshin's characters. That's pretty, opinionated. It really depends on
Yeah,
what
it's
person you
very
are.
yeah.
I watched it and I kind of agree with this. The bosses legit feel like Dark Souls bosses, where if you get hit one time, it'll just take a third of your health bar,
Yeah.
and you have to actually, like, there's, like, parrying, there's obviously dodging, attacking. The bosses have very Dark Souls-esque attack patterns, where it's like they'll do a thing or a movement or something that indicates that they're about to do an attack if you've kind of studied the way that it's moving, and you'll be able to do it, and be able to, like, dodge the mechanics or parry the mechanics if you know what's going on. Yeah, unlike in Genshin, you played Genshin, but I really didn't.
Yeah.
You played it for a little bit. At
It's
least
a good while.
probably enough to know that usually you have a main DPS character. In a game
Yep.
like that, that's not like Honkai Star Rail, where all four of your characters are always playing at the same time, which I
Yeah.
really like. In Genshin, you have, like, a main DPS, and you just swap in your other dudes to, like, do a quick heal or, like, use a quick shield and then swap
Yep.
right back to your DPS to actually play the game and hit the enemies.
Yep.
This game has, like, mechanics where if you, like, switch off to certain characters and you're doing something, those characters will, like, stay out and, like, do other mechanics too. And there's more of a reason to have more than just your main DPS being used at once. Like,
Yeah.
especially with co-op, you can actually, like, play the role of a tank in a way,
Mm-hmm.
where you're, like, purposely taking a hit, or, like, you know what I mean, like, purposely taking aggro and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It has, like, a SimWorld type mode, which, like, I don't know what that meant when whoever was on the Gotcha Cast said it, and everyone else agreed. But like I like SimWorld, so like, hey, that's a kind of a dub. And yeah, the biggest reason why we should play it or try it is you can play co-op. I also listened to Gotcha Smack and Vulcan, who are two other Honkai Star Rail creators who have kind of a duo podcast where they just talk about whatever they're playing. Mostly it's Honkai Star Rail, but because that's the game they mostly cover. But they had a whole episode 2 or 3 nights ago where they talked about Wuthering Waves, and they brought up how you can do co-op and you can go into like the same battles and stuff.
Yeah.
And you know how it's like Calyxes are one thing in like Honkai Star Rail, but like in Genshin stuff, like it's a lot more like you can't just brain off do your dailies in a way because it's action combat. It's not just like set your dudes on auto and then like walk away.
Yeah.
With games like that, you kind of actually have to physically play the game even to do your farming. But they made the farming kind of fun because you can do co-op with it, and you can either do a thing where you're doing one fight and you're farming some of the mobs, and then your friend is farming some of the other mobs and killing other mobs somewhere else, and then you both just like go back and get the rewards from each other's mobs that you killed. So you basically complete it double as fast, or you can do it doubly as fast because the bosses in these things, I don't know the exact words for the things in the game. Yeah, the bosses in these instances, they don't scale health when you add more people. So when you're playing with a friend, it effectively doubles the rate at which you can do your daily farming.
Yeah.
So it just like you just bring a homie in, and the process is expedited and also probably more fun.
Yeah, for sure.
So I really liked the whole idea. I don't know what all you can co-op. I'm sure like there are still things. They said that you can't do co-op. I mean, it's like that with every game. Yeah. There's like solo stuff. Main story, I'm sure, is like it's about you because you're playing as a main character, just like in almost any gacha like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I figured we should do that when it releases. I think that'd be kind of fun to co-op. Because I feel like
do you have any idea on estimated time it releases?
I mean, I could look it up.
I mean, yeah, you could.
I don't know off the top of my head. When does Wuthering Waves come out? Okay, it just gave the date for Ghost Beta 2.
Yeah, I just wondered if they had said anything
October
about
24th. Oh, okay. Release date. Okay, this is speculation, but it's on the official Reddit. Okay, so it is heavily expected by just about everybody in the community that this game is coming out in 2024, this year at some point.
Yeah.
Could be because they're already in the second beta. So people are saying October is like the latest most people expect, but there's a good chance where it could come out in the summer.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. I would also expect for it to come out this year as well, considering a lot of people are talking very highly about the game. So there's people believe that the game has a lot to do in it currently. And it's only February. And yeah, it can yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll for sure.
Yeah.
I'll for sure try it when it comes out because I've always been a gacha fan. I've been playing gachas, I mean, shit, probably since I was like, I don't know, fucking 13 or something. Very, very, very early on, I've been playing gachas. So, I mean, always been a big fan of them. I'll for sure try it out. We'll for sure probably do co-op. I mean, make sure on day one to check out Big Aqueous's channel
Real.
for some day one live coverage of Withering Waves. But other than that, I mean, I feel like we've kind of reached the end of our little episode here.
Yeah, I agree.
Covered everything we want to. So
Mm-hmm.
AAA is dying. The rise of indie devs is upon us, and gaming is looking good. It is.
Discord's the goat.
And Discord is the goat. That is true. But
that's the recap.
Yeah, that's pretty much. Hey, it is what it is. That'll about do it for us tonight at the Duo Q podcast. So if you did enjoy the episode, be sure to leave a like. Drop us a few questions and comments. You know, everyone does help the channel. And be sure to subscribe if you want more weekly podcasts coming out every Tuesday. Other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night, whatever it is for you. Anything else you want to say?
All right. I mean, like, thanks for watching. I feel like once we get to the point where we actually get some comments on our podcast, we could just do a thing where we either open up or close each episode of the podcast by answering some questions.
Oh, for sure. I want to do some Q&A stuff.
Pretty sure that they literally do that in Steak and Eggs.
They do.
Every few episodes, they like do some Q&A, mostly from their Patreon, but you know, either or. Both.
Yeah.
Both, for sure. Because, like, yeah, I just want to be able to interact with the community. Because, like, the community that is built around a podcast like this is just like, you just know it's a good one.
Yeah, it can just be about anything and everything.
Just listening to two dudes talking.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be the most wholesome gang.
Well,
yeah.
Well, with all that being said, see you guys next week.
Peace.
Peace.